Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Learner's Den. Today, we will start with the fifth chapter, that is the 100 dresses, and we'll try to cover part 1 and 2 both. Let's begin with the chapter. This story is set in a school in an American town. Starting with the story map, the story begins in a school where the protagonist of the story, Wanda Petronsky, is introduced, but she is not present in the school, and nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. She was a part of room 13, and she sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks and who were noisy, who were naughty, they all sat there. But Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, she was quiet and rarely said anything at all. Nobody had even seen her or heard her laugh out loud. All she would give was a small smile. She came to school all the way from Bogan Heights, and her feet were usually caked with dry mud. It was only on Wednesday that Peggy and Maddie, who sat down front with other children and got good marks, they noticed her absence. Peggy was one of the most popular girl in school. She was pretty, she had many pretty clothes, and her hair was curly. Maddie was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Maddie noticed Wanda's absence was because they were waiting to make fun of Wanda, but instead she was not there. In the room number 13, they did not have a lot of names like Wanda Petronsky because she was from Poland. She was Polish origin. Wanda didn't have any friends and she came school alone, went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress which did not match, did not hang right, was not very clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. It was clean but not ironed properly. Peggy would, whenever she would see her, she would ask in the most courteous manner that, how many dresses did you say you have hanging in your closet, Wanda? And Wanda would say that there was 100 dresses. And they would go on to discuss whether they were in silk, in velvet. And then the next question would be, how many shoes did you say you had? And she would say, 60 pairs all lying in my closet. Peggy, who had thought up this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the one making fun of her. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies, and she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. But she did not feel bad in making fun of Wanda. One of the major reasons was because she knew that Wanda was lying to them. Maddie was poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand me down clothes, and it was lucky for her that she was not living in Bogan Heights. But she also did not stop all the fun, and Maddie felt embarrassed and she studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them round and saying nothing herself. But she was sad. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky. She hoped that she had actually the courage to say to her best friend Peggy that they should not be doing this. If only Peggy would decide on her own accord to stop making fun with Wanda, then everything would be sorted. Uh, Maddie also remembered that Wanda would tell them about her dresses, and she talked about a particular dress which was pale blue with colored trimmings, and another with a brilliant jungle green with red sash. And this, she said that you would look like a Christmas tree in that. Maddie, after a few days, Maddie began to wonder who was going to win the drawing and coloring contest. For girls, this contest was consisted of designing dresses, and for boys, of designing motorboats. Probably Peggy would win the girls' medal because Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room, and Maddie was sure that Peggy would win. And it was Miss Mason who was to announce the winner for the day. That day, the minute they entered the classroom, they were stopped short and they gasped. There were drawings all over the room. On every ledge, windowsill, dazzling colors and brilliant, lavish designs, all drawn on great sheets of wrapping paper. There must have been 100 of them all lined up, and they were all from the drawing contest. Everybody murmured admiringly, and soon Miss Mason announced the winner. Jack Beggles had won for the boys, she said, and his design for an outboard motor was an exhibition in room 12 along with the sketches by the other boys. As for the girls, she mentioned that in the opinion of the judges, any one of the drawing is worthy of winning the prizes, and she was very happy to say that it was Wanda Petronsky who was the winner of the girls' medal. But unfortunately, Wanda was absent from school for some days and was not here to receive the medal. And everyone looked at the drawings admiringly. They were admiring the drawing so much. And Maddie said, pointed out to Peg that there's the blue one that she told them about. And isn't it beautiful? And then they also found the green one that she told them. So, in that, when they saw the drawings, Peggy said that, and only I thought I could draw. Peggy was aware of her talents, but she also admired Wanda's talent because the dresses that Wanda had designed was very beautiful. This comes to the end of part one. We start with part two now. Part two starts when the monitor from the principal's office brought Miss Mason a note. That note was from Wanda's father, and she wanted to read it out to the entire class. The note read, "Dear teacher, my Wanda will not come to your school anymore. Jake also. Now we move away to a big city. No more holler poller. No more ask why funny name. Plenty of funny name in the big city. Yours truly, Jan Petronsky." A deep silence met the reading of the letter because uh, they did not expect that this was one of the reasons why Wanda left the school. And Miss Mason further said that she hoped that it was not the students of room 13 who would purposely and deliberately hurt her and make her feel upset. And it is a very unfortunate thing, she agreed. Maddie had a very sick feeling in the bottom of her stomach the moment she learned about the letter. True, she had not enjoyed listening to Peggy ask Wanda how many dresses she had in her closet, but she had said nothing about it. She just stood silently, and that was just as bad as what Peggy had done, even worse because she was a coward. Goodness, wasn't there anything she could do? If only she could tell Wanda she hadn't meant to hurt her feelings. Maybe Peggy would climb the heights with her, and they would tell Wanda that she had won the contest and that she thought she was smart and the 100 dresses were beautiful. Uh, but before she could say anything else, Peggy said with a in a very casual manner, that let's go and see if that kid has left town or not. So Peggy had the same idea Maddie thought, and they started going there. And once they reached there, they were hoping to find Wanda. They went on to Bogan Heights and they came in front of a little white house. There was old grass stuck up there along the pathway like thin kittens, and the house had its sparse little yard look shabby but clean. And it reminded Mandy of Wanda's one dress she had, which was clean and shabby, not iron. They knocked firmly, but there was no answer, so they thought that she must have left. Then they were, besides, when they were asking about the dresses, Peggy tried to convince herself that she was probably giving her good ideas for the drawings, and that is how she won the contest. Maddie turned the idea carefully, but that night again, she could get no sleep. She thought about Wanda, her faded blue dress, and the little house she lived in. She was never going to stand by and say nothing again. She thought, if she ever heard anyone picking on someone because they were funny looking or because they had strange names, she would speak up, even if it meant losing Peggy's friendship. She had no way of making things right with Wanda, but from now on, she would never make anybody else unhappy. On Saturday, Maddie spent the afternoon with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Wanda Petronsky. It was just a friendly letter telling her about the contest, how she has won, how pretty her drawings were, and hoping that she liked where she was living now and her new teacher and a new school. They thought they would apologize, but it just came out to be a friendly letter, and they signed it with lots of X's for love and mailed it to Wanda. Weeks went by and still Wanda did not answer. Now it was Christmas time and there was snow on the ground. There was Christmas bells and small tree decorated in the classroom. On the last day of the school before the holidays, the teacher showed the class a letter she had received that morning. And she talked about Wanda Petronsky, who had sent them a letter. Dear Miss Mason, how are you and room 13? Please tell the girls they can keep those 100 dresses because in my new house I have 100 new ones all lined up in my closet. I would like that girl Peggy to have the drawing of the green dress with red trimmings and her friend Maddie to have the blue one. For Christmas, I miss that school and my new teacher does not equalize with you. Merry Christmas to you and everybody. So finally, Wanda had replied to the letter. And Peggy was so happy. He said that it shows that she really likes us. And it shows that she got the letter, and this is her way of saying everything is all right. And Maddie simply just hoped that that was true because she knew she would never see the little Polish girl again and couldn't even really make things right between them. She went home, she pinned her drawing in over a torn place in the pink flowery wallpaper that she had, and she studied it intently. She had hardly noticed the face and head of the drawing. But then when she studied it, she realized that it looked like her. It looked absolutely like her. Excitedly, she ran over to Peggy's. Look, she drew you. She ran over to Peggy's and told her that, look, she drew you, and that's you. When they went on to examine Peggy's drawing, Maddie's drawing, they realized that yes, the other one was also, she resembled Peggy totally. And then they realized that she must have actually liked them. And now they understood why she always told them that there was 100 dresses that she had lined up. So it was her way of showing that she did possess 100 dresses. That is the second part of the story. We move on and explore the important themes that this story deals about. It talks about the Polish immigration. Wanda Petronsky is a Polish girl in an American school and she is judged for her name and her looks. There is a discrimination on the basis of race, country of origin, and ethnicity because she looked different and because her name was different. Everyone thought it was apt to make fun of her. Her friendship and the need for acceptance in the peer group is very much visible because even though they wanted to stand against what was happening, just to maintain her friendship, she did not do so, or rather, she could not do so. Hence, friendship comes up as very important here because Maddie could not stand against Peggy. They were also judged on the basis of their financial background because she was poor, did not have enough money to purchase beautiful dresses, and that is the reason she was made fun of. If we see the character sketch of Wanda Petronsky, yes, she is a Polish girl. She's very quiet and shy. She keeps to herself and does not mingle a lot with the other students. She can be considered as a social outcast because she's teased by her friends and not accepted in the group. She's a sincere girl who rarely laughs. She's talented, skilled, and very creative, which is highlighted in the paintings. She has a lot of patience because she does not fight with the girls and she simply accepts their criticism, but she replies them in her own sweet manner. She is determined and she shows her determination in the drawing competition by making 100 dresses. And she also possesses a great capacity for forgiveness and is extending friendship to Maddie and Peggy. Coming to character sketch of Peggy, she's a rich, pretty American girl. She's intelligent, she's good at studies, and she scores good marks. She's also creative, talented, and a good artist, which is highlighted in the story by Maddie. She loved to have fun and she enjoyed teasing Wanda, and she was praised wholeheartedly She made sure that when she saw Wanda's drawing, she praised them wholeheartedly. And she tried to make amends when she realized why Wanda had left. Next, when character sketch of Maddie, she's a very kind-hearted girl. She does not like teasing others. She was a not very confident girl because she could not stand against Peggy. She feared Peggy as she will be the next victim for her nonsense. She is a very sensitive and emotional girl because she was the one who was mostly affected when Wanda left, and she curses herself that she failed to stop Peggy from teasing Wanda and promises that she will not repeat it next time. Justification of title: the entire story revolves around a poor girl Wanda who is mocked by her classmates for her poor dress and gives her reply in the form of beautifully drawn 100 dresses. Drawings here, it does not only win the contest but also it wins the heart of Wanda's teachers and classmates. And here it is meant to arouse our curiosity that how can someone have 100 dresses, and also to suggest that it is not the 100 dresses but the designs which are important here, which symbolizes that it further underlines the importance of talent and not simply the possessions that one may have. So that is how the title of this particular chapter could be justified. I hope you like the content. If you do, please like, share, and subscribe. Happy learning.